Hey everybody, welcome back to Noise Complaints. Today I have kind of it's not really so much a news story as it is a story that was written on another publication having to do with a topic that is very near and dear to this channel and what we discuss, but kind of went about discussing it in a way that I hope maybe was tongue-in-cheek, but if it wasn't, I do want to talk about it because I feel like it puts forth a narrative that is, once again, somewhat damaging to the hobby on a whole. And of course, what I'm talking about is yesterday's article in Sound and Vision about the upcoming boom or a home theater resurgence that they ran. Now, if you haven't read this article, I will link to it in the description below, but basically, and it's a short article, but basically the author is asserting that home theater is about to go through a renaissance or another boom period similar to what maybe we saw during leading up to the housing crash, in the early 2000s into the mid 2000s, pre-2008 when home theater was flourishing. This author is suggesting that those good times are a-comin' again. And he says that they're coming because, in summation, rich people aren't going to want to flaunt their wealth in the coming future. Therefore, they're going to stay home and invest more in things that the average or regular Joe public isn't going to be able to see. And his examples are, cars are stupid, cars are a way of showing off your wealth, and therefore it makes you an easy target in this, environment where people with wealth are demonized, and so they're not going to spend money on cars. They're going to spend money on AV equipment. They're not going to go out for fancy dinners because to go out for a really fancy dinner also puts a target on your back. So you're going to stay in, order in, and buy AV equipment. And then he says stuff about smart technology is going to make it easier and so on and so forth. But again, the thing that got me was, again, I hope that this was tongue-in-cheek, although it's not written where there's a nice wink to it, in the sense that home theater's resurgence is therefore now predicated upon rich people needing to buy really expensive gear and hide away in their caves and their purpose-built rooms and their luxury dwellings, while the rest of us vilify them, or so on and so forth. So that's the point that really kind of bugged me and I thought was extremely irresponsible, because not only is it very short-sighted, but it paints the hobby as a rich man's endeavor. And it's not, because everything about technology and everything about home theater and specialty AV has gotten better with less. And if anything, it's the super uber high-end, the specialty AV market that's clinging to this decades-old promise that, you have to spend six figures to get six-figure entertainment or six-figure enjoyment. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with ultra high-end gear. I think you do, to some degree, get what you pay for. But this article is kind of suggesting that, well, only rich people understand this, and only rich people therefore will do this, and therefore everything should cater to them because they're the ones that are going to save the hobby, save the industry that is stagnant. And that's just not true. That's not true, because anyone with a couple of bucks to rub together that is willing to buy into the hobby at any level, whether that's a $100 receiver or a $100,000 custom home theater, is doing their part to keep the hobby alive. And while it may seem like the $100,000 customer is the one that moves the needle the most, it really isn't, because if you go by what people are actually buying, what statistically is moving the needle and thus driving innovation and thus propelling brands and manufacturers to make new and exciting gear, it's all in the $100 to $1,000 range. And that is, for some, a lot of money. For some, it may not be as much, but it is all very kind of obtainable. And so for this article to kind of go out of its way to say, dear 1%ers, it's you. You're going to be the ones that save this. You're going to be the ones that we're going to now cater to, or have to cater to if we want to survive, is really short-sighted. And the last paragraph in the article even goes so far as to say that the author isn't one of these people, but does want a dedicated room, but understands that dedicated rooms are a Jurassic form of thinking. I think he called it a dinosaur, but a Jurassic form of thinking. And as a result, smart displays, smart technology is attracting younger people. So in a weird way, in the end, he is correct, but he still doesn't necessarily side with the reality, and instead kind of puts forth this hypothesis that we need ultra high-end gear to save us all. And it made me laugh, because at first I read it and I was like, is this a joke? And then I kind of reread it again and I was like, wait, I don't know if it's a joke. I think this person might actually be serious. And the fact that it's on Sound and Vision, where the very next story is Magnapan's brand new $30,000 speaker system going on tour, it's like, what narrative are we trying to push here? Are we trying to reach, that Mr. or Mrs. Aston Martin, or are we simply, has AV publications become little more than gear pornography, in the sense that it's something that we will never have, therefore we just get to view pictures of it and read about it and live vicariously through it? Or are they really trying to position themselves in such a way where they're like, hey, better to align ourselves with a few big fish and hope that they take us to the dance? I don't see the rebirth or the popularity of home theater depending on the top 1% type earners. If anything, home theater is going to go through a resurgence, and that resurgence is coming very, very soon. And that resurgence has a lot to do with streaming, and I'm going to go out on my own limb here and say that resurgence very well could hinge upon Disney and Marvel Studios. Because if what you saw at Comic-Con is to be believed, and if everything that Marvel has slated and planned and everything that Disney wants to do with their brand new streaming platform comes to fruition, and day and date movie releases whereby a film is available on streaming and theatrical, or streaming and no theatrical, but it is of a quality that people would have normally gone to the theaters for, that is what's going to move the needle. Because now home theater, more so than specs, more so than 8K, 16K channels of surround sound, more than that, it now has a legit reason for a sale to occur. Because right now, everything about home theater is parroting what you've already been able to do, or parroting what you've already paid your money to see. But if content continues to premiere on streaming, and if that content crosses the bridge into very, very popular culture content, i.e. tentpole style movies coming out to streaming the same day as theaters, or even exclusively to streaming, well, now there's a reason to invest in that larger, more badass TV. Now there might be a reason to invest in surround sound and better quality loudspeakers, because now you have a reason to make your living room, or make a room in your house, your local Cineplex, because that's what it's going to be. And that is something that will be able to be enjoyed at every single monetary level. Because if you're still the person buying a pair of 5 bookshelf speakers and a satellite subwoofer and a $200 receiver, guess what? You're going to have an awesome home theater experience when this new content, and arguably that content is out now, but when this new content hits the market. And if you're well-heeled and you're able to have that 6-figure custom screening room with auto masking in it, well, great, you're going to have a great time too. But to suggest that this all hinges upon the half of 1% is a mistake. It's an absolute mistake because, well, the 1%, they got this. They got this. They got you. But they don't. And that's why we continue to see great products at like $200 and $300 and $400 all day, every day. And they just continue to get better, and they continue to have features that otherwise were out of reach 5, 6, 7 years ago. So yeah, that's my take on Sound & Vision's article yesterday about how the rich are going to save us all and in the process save home theater. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Sound & Vision has a point? Do you think I'm right? Do you think it's somewhere in the middle? Let me know, sound off below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, thumbs up, and if you can, subscribe and ring the bell. It will help you get notified when these episodes come out, since I don't have a regular posting schedule for noise complaints. Subscribing to this channel and turning on your notifications is the best way to ensure that you do not miss a single episode. So thank you all again so much for watching. Until next time, remember, the only person that has to like the sound of your system is you. So until the news breaks, happy listening, everybody. Bye.